My name is Donald Crocker. I am a UAF alumni, and then I am also the lead academic advisor for the Academic Advising Center. The population that you're going to have is very different, especially if you're a teaching assistant. The assumption would be that you'd be teaching a 100 level class, and now that's going to range from a lot of different personalities, as it is in any university. But here, with such a strong non-traditional population, the issue of age and difference, and I guess the idea of respect, that can become a very difficult thing if you're, say, maybe 23, 24, and you're trying to teach a 56-year-old how to write a research paper. And so at times it becomes, very, very difficult. And there's really no right way or wrong way to go about that. But keeping that in mind, that there are these cultural differences, being aware of them, not necessarily feeling like you're attacked by them, can be very, very helpful for a teacher coming in. I think that's one thing that not everybody expects, especially coming to UAF, teaching these 100 level classes. You expect an 18-year-old, 19-year-old kids to be walking through your door, and instead it's someone that might be your grandparents or something like that. The research that I did, what I found was a lot of people would sign on to Alaskan Native villages, one, because of the money, which I don't think is really an issue for teaching assistants, but it's the idea of adventure. And Alaska has a very strong draw. It might be just because of those random Discovery Channel shows that are on. It might be because we're called The Last Frontier. But there's this sense of adventure if you're signing on to teach in Alaska, that you're going to have these amazing times, and it's the last chance to live in the wilderness and stuff like that. And that can be the case, most definitely. But at times that can kind of mask the brutal realities of living in Fairbanks. The fact that you don't know how you're going to be affected by seasonal affectiveness disorder. You don't know how you're going to be able to, especially if you're coming from, say, California or Texas or Florida, how this 40 below weather, even this 30 below weather, is going to affect you. I know when I first got here, my nose froze on the inside, and it freaked me out, and I ran back in the dorms because I had no idea what was happening to me. And so it's these external things that can really affect you as a teacher, because if you carry that into a classroom, all these other things, and how could you not? It's where you're living. There's no way to change it. You're kind of just stuck there. So if you carry that into the classroom and you allow that to really take over, you're not going to have a good time. The students are going to be able to recognize that. Especially if it's students that have been in Fairbanks for a long time, or just in Alaska in general. One of the best things I've ever heard is Alaskans count their years of being in Alaska by winters and not by full years. So if you tell students, oh yeah, I was here for a summer, they're going to be like, I don't know if you're going to make it or not. And if you visibly show that, it can, students can be understanding, but at the same time, it can definitely have negative effects on your teaching ability and your ability to be effective as a professor. The biggest, one thing that we find with students is the issue of time management, and it becomes very. That's one of the things that they really don't expect, is how important it is for time management. If that's something they didn't practice in high school, that first semester can be very much of a shock for them. So. In terms of expectations for writing, it's the same thing. There's some that expect that you're going to walk into a 100 level class and you're going to be expected to write a 30-page paper, which those students are relieved once they walk into a 100 level class. And there's other ones that the 3-page paper is shockingly long for them, and they don't understand why they have to write so much. And so it really kind of comes down to the student. As a professor, as a teacher of these classes, you're going to find that those differing opinions will all be present in your class, and so you'll hear it from both sides. So just kind of have to go with that. If you're coming to UAF and you've never been here before, the most the best thing that you can do is get involved. It can really, if you're get involved, and what I mean by get involved is be out and about in the university, in the community, not just, not necessarily just up on the hill here, but in the Fairbanks community as well. That's what kept me here for 10 years, is that the community is so strong here. It's really down to earth, nice, easygoing people. A lot of them are super quirky and they're really strange, but that was what makes Fairbanks Fairbanks.